Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. It's our Monday, but it's Tuesday. Oh, have some camera issues. My name is Lindsay. It's really distracting when Nick goes off script and does something different. So sorry for that. This is Coffee and Cookies. We're so glad you're joining us over a long weekend. We hope you had a great one. It's a beautiful day out today. It was beautiful yesterday.
Did not want you to be so short when I did the split screen. So I made you a little bit taller, you know?
I don't have my heels on today. That's what it was. I don't have my heels on.
There you go. Right. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Cookies. If we missed you yesterday, know that we missed you. We were having time with family. Hopefully you were spending some time with family. It was a federal holiday, so some people had off, some people didn't. But either way, we're here today and we got things to talk about today, and some of it's going to be funny. Some of it's not going to be, some of it's going to be a little difficult. So, hope you're ready for a little bit. So here we go, right? The show has evolved, right? Before it was real heavy marketing and a little bit of parenting and a little bit of life. And now it's really heavy life and parenting, right? And it's a little bit, of the marketing. And because of that, I'm going to start another segment that's going to really be heavy marketing, but that will come in the future. Let's talk about
so many, this agenda is so full.
Well, no, it's not really that full. It's just I have a lot of notes. So, if you have a Netflix subscription.
I have a joke.
Oh, go.
What's a squirrel's favorite TV to watch?
Netflix. That was good. That came out of left field.
I know, right?
There you go.
They just kind of pop up.
Your family is known for coming up with jokes. Though. Y'all actually research this in the morning of jokes of the day, don't you?
You should ask Tristan his newest joke.
It's actually, normally he just tells it to me.
They made me laugh out loud.
That's good.
Both of them.
That's good. So Tristan's going to do stand-up comedy one day.
Anyway, Netflix is
well, hold on. Here we go, right? So if you've been watching Netflix, you may have noticed some A-level actors on Netflix. And somehow, some way, Netflix has to pay for these actors.
Yes.
Right?
I'm sure.
So
and pay the commissions out to the
right? So Netflix is going up on their pricing again.
This is what, twice in a year?
Well, it's yes. So it's funny because they had their first price bump in October of 2020, and now as we roll into 2022, they're having another price bump. So I get it, right? You got to cover the bills, but here's the thing though, it's actually more expensive than HBO Max now.
Really?
So if you're a person who really likes your movies, right, you're not real big into the TV shows, you're really into your HBO, you might want to look at that, because it might be less money per month to have HBO Max over Netflix now.
Right.
Now here we go, right? If you're looking at this and you're like, yeah, but I pay for HBO Max, I pay for Netflix, I pay for Disney Plus, I pay for all this stuff, right?
Oh, there's Hulu. There's so many.
Amazon Prime, right?
That's for shipping. The Prime is just a plus.
But it also comes with movies. So you can have all these subscriptions, and it's funny because a lot of people went on this big thing of, I'm going to get rid of my cable bill. I'm going to get rid of paying my $100 per month for my cable.
Yeah. Have you added up all your subscriptions lately?
There you go. That's the question. Yes. Right? You cut the cord. Remember, there was a big thing. There was a big thing about that. Yes. I'm going to cut my cord. Yes. And now you need to go check your bill.
Yep.
Because you might be paying for 3 or 4 subscriptions. And here we go, right? There's only so much time in the day. Are you even utilizing them?
Right. So last night I was watching a very chick flicky movie. At the end of the day, the kids were winding down, and I was just watching a movie, and they wanted to watch Bluey before they went to bed. So I put on Bluey, which is I was watching Netflix. They wanted to watch Disney. Totally fine. But in that time period, another TV in my house got turned on to Netflix, and I went to go back to finish my movie, and I couldn't unless I paid more per month to
That
have
is
two
correct.
screens. And I'm like, no, like like it's the weekend or at nighttime that we're going to watch this. I don't want to pay more. So I said no.
Well, it's funny because I don't know if Disney Plus has that issue.
I don't know either. Dustin asked me that too. He's like, can we do that with Disney? And I'm like, I don't know that we've ever tried. Like, we've always been watching the same thing.
Oh, interesting.
We usually watch things together as a family.
So I know that London's been on her iPad watching Disney. I've been on my phone watching Disney, and Amber's been on the living room TV all watching Disney.
Why not just pick one Disney show to watch as a family?
Oh no! I was in the garage. I was on the phone in the garage working on a project. Amber was in the living room,
Gotcha.
and our girls are allowed to have some mini time, their
Right.
iPad minis, for a little bit, and they wanted to watch another really kids cartoon that Amber was just kind of kids cartooned out that day.
Right. Totally get that.
Right.
Totally get
So
that.
just here we go. Right. It's not saying that I'm not. It's not saying that I'm mad that Netflix is going up on their price. That's just going to happen. I mean, inflation is up a massive
Right.
percentage right now. You know, they're getting A-list actors to come to Netflix and have Netflix only movies. I completely get it. What I'm saying is, to the consumer, be aware of how many subscriptions
Right.
you're currently paying for, because
And really evaluate, is it worth
Is it worth it? There you go.
investing really into that subscription.
there you go. Right. That's good. That's good, because, you know, what's it taking you from?
Right. Oh.
Right. Or are you one of those people that have to have, well, you know, maybe you're working and maybe you like to have something on in the background, right? Maybe you've watched the movie 350 times and now you just like to have it on the background while
Right.
you work. You know, it's some kind of, you know, just noise. People do that.
So when
Amber's
is this
big
bump-
on that.
When is this bump happening?
So if you're new, if you sign up for Netflix, you're going to get the price increase right out the gate.
Sure.
Okay. If you're already with Netflix, they're not grandfathering you in. That's probably the only rub that I really have. There are companies where sometimes when you're on a bit older of a plan, they'll just grandfather you in, right? But no, Netflix is saying everyone's getting this in 30
Well, that's
days.
because there's a lot of people are on Netflix. That would be a lot of money lost for them.
And you want to know what, as big as Netflix is, I mean, even if it's a little bump in bad PR, it's not going to hurt them long term, right? Like, you want it, Netflix is almost at Disney status. Like, even a little bit of negative PR is not going to really, maybe they'll hit a little dip, but they'll rise right back up.
Do you remember when Netflix was just a box outside of a store?
Oh my goodness, right?
And you had the DVDs,
Right?
And you could only get
You had to have the
or when it came in the mail, you got it shipped to your house.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
That was a big deal. That was super exciting. Mhm.
There you go. There you go. So that's our Netflix segment. Be aware, check your bills, know what subscriptions you're paying for. It's very easy to sign up for them.
Yes.
So we're actually not going to go down that. We'll talk about Death by 1,000 Cuts tomorrow.
Okay. Are you sure? It kind of fits right in.
No,
Okay.
tomorrow,
All right.
because today's
We'll talk about
topics
death later.
today's topics are difficult conversations.
Yes.
Go ahead, share your story.
So I'm sure I'm the only one in the world that gets advice from people outside of, your parental units on how to raise your kids. Right?
Well, and just not even that, but sometimes there are people that want to give you their advice and it wasn't asked for.
Or it wasn't asked for, or I've had friends do this of like, we're at a play date and oh, this is what we do. And I'm like, oh, well, that's nice.
So to kind of summarize, when you when you're out and about, sometimes people just want to give you parenting advice.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you look at their kids and go, you really the person to give me parenting advice? Right? Now, here we go, right? It doesn't just stop at parenting, right? Some people will say, hey, this is how you need to have your marriage. Hey, this is how you need to have your relationship.
Right?
Hey, this is how you need to have your money. Hey, this is how you need to do what, and just fill in the blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at that individual and you go, are you really the person to be giving me advice?
Not even that. It's anybody can give advice. Is this really the person I want to be listening to?
Ooh, there you go. That's
that
good.
advice?
That's good.
Because
That's
anybody
good.
can, it's, freedom of speech. I can not keep you from sharing whatever you want to share. That's fine. But it's more of internally for me of who is it that I want to be listening to help guide me in this parenting journey. Because I'm learning. I am learning. And I'm not opposed to having advice.
Sure.
Please give me advice. Because I know I do things wrong. But it was just more of who do I want to be listening to? And
very true. And how do you
how
reply?
How do I respond
there
to people
you
that
go. I
don't really want to listen to? Because it's like, if you've watched this show, you might have picked up that I cannot hide anything on my face. It's really hard for me, which is great for, funny things. But when you have those
moments where you need to keep composure.
Yes, you're like, I don't really need this person to know what I'm thinking. Because it's not really, it's not
not positive. It's a far cry from positive.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
So, yes, Angelina and I, we tell each other to fix our faces all the time because we have these thoughts of like,
Did you really just type that? Did you really just put that on social media? So here we go, right? When it comes to those conversations, there's a point in time where yes, you kind of need to get that set that person back, right? But there's also a time to where, they're giving you this advice because they're trying to be sincere. They're trying to be helpful, and maybe their tone's a little off, or maybe it's just, it's, you're not in the right place to accept it. But here we go. Let me finish. So when you have a conversation, or when you notice that someone is doing this repetitively, you need to sit down outside of that.
Well, wait, before you say that.
Okay.
So, like, I talked to my husband about this, and I'm like, gosh, this is just still rolling back in my head, and I can't get it out. I can't figure out why. And anyway, I come in, and Nick's like, how was your weekend? And I tell him about my weekend, and he's like, oh, well, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, how? What? Where was that over the weekend? It was like a snap fix, and I was like, huh. And you said, what did you say? You said that was the whole integrator.
That's an integrator, visionary, absolutely.
Perspectives. And I was like, oh, Dustin's not like, we're both working on the visionary side of our lives. We're both stronger in our integrators.
You are, thank God.
So, while talking to my husband was helpful in like other things, and he agreed with me on things, or we just talked through it, it was like it's still kind of just like there's just something off in the back of my head, and I couldn't figure it out. And so Nick was like, oh, well, did you think about it like this? And I was like, click.
There you go. But that's why the visionary integrator, that's why you need to have people in your life that are integrators, and that's why you need to have people in your life who are visionaries.
Yes.
And we'll actually go down a different segment on that to talk about Amber, because she's an integrator. But let's finish this, okay? So when you're having these this person or people that are in your life that are constantly trying to give you want to just coming up with something that's real simple, like, hey, thank you for that perspective. I'll consider that in the future.
Right. But
because
having that, and this is where he was like, this is not just you.
It's not.
Because when you get into these conversations and you aren't expecting I'm not going to be able to get this right. So you take over. When you're not expecting that kind of conversation
and you don't have a plan,
and you don't have a plan.
what
Thank you.
what
I was
will
like,
happen is they'll say it and you'll go on this emotional rise and you'll go through a fight or flight, even on a very minute scale, because it's not like you're, you know, it's in this
scared for my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But your brain will still go through a fight or flight mode, and you can't think. But if you have a plan in place, if you have, you know, words that you're willing to say already prepared, then when that happens, your brain can default to, here's how I say it. And hear me on this, okay? This is how you de-escalate the conversation without it being negative, right? This is how you end the conversation and it still be a positive. Because some people, if someone goes to share with you some advice and you come out with a negative response, you just shut that person down.
Right.
Right?
They're never going to share anything with you ever again.
Or they're so negative, you gave them exactly what they wanted. And now they're going to do it over and over and over again because you're feeding their negative.
Here's an issue right
Yeah,
now. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I didn't know if you were going to say something like that. So here we go, right? So make sure that you have a kind of a programmed positive response.
Right.
To end the conversation, de-escalate the situation, and yet you're still in control now. Hey, thank you for that perspective.
Yes.
I'll consider that in the future.
Yes.
Oh, you just told that individual, I've heard you.
Yep.
I'm going to consider it in the future. I'm going to think about what you said. I've heard you. I'm going to think about what you said, and then I'm going to make my own decision.
But then it's not out of a reaction. You've processed it. You've figured out, is this somebody that looking at the fruit of what they're talking about in their own life, is this something that you want to implement into your life
and
implement moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to implement it into your life? Do you want to do you want to take what they've given you and maybe help you in on the parenting realm or weight loss or education or life, right? But you want to know what? You also having that answer allows you now to go back and go, hey, remember when you said X and I told you I would consider it and think about it? So, you know, I've given it some thought, and now you can maybe come back to them and give them some positive, right? Or, hey, you know, I heard what I thought about it, and we've decided to do this with our kids. We've decided to do this with our exercise routine. We've decided to do this with our money. And now it's not a one way, I'm just giving you advice. Now it's a two way. Now we can actually have a conversation, and hear me on this. Okay. When you start having those conversations, now you don't just change your perspective. Now you get to change their perspective.
Right.
And in doing so, you may take this person who's maybe twisted things a little negative,
or stuck,
or maybe they're stuck, and you get to unstuck them. You get to change it into a positive. The power of words will define the trajectory of your life.
That's
so
good.
Be aware of that.
Yep.
And if you're that person that's constantly giving advice, before you give advice, you better look at what you've done and where you're at, and should you be giving that advice?
You know, I think the Bible mentions that in talking about pointing out somebody's splinter. You need to look at the plank in your own eye. Correct.
Yes, it absolutely does. And I don't know the verse, but and I'm not going to go down that road. I'm just going to say, hey, look
Right.
here.
Right.
Look at you first, okay? Because case in point, I think I'm a great dad. I really do. Some parents may be like, hey, Nick, yeah, but you're a great dad, but you're a little too loud, right? Or you're a great dad because you have a coaching background, right? Or you're a great dad, but you still mess up. Yes, I mess up. Yes, I have a coaching background. And yes, I am loud.
Very loud.
Okay. But if I come to you with some parenting advice, I'm coming to you, I'm giving you this advice very sincerely. Okay. I'm hoping to better you. And here we go, right? Just because I give you advice doesn't mean I expect you to just take it blindly.
Right.
No, I would love it. I would love to hear that. Nick, I heard what you said. I'm going to consider that.
Right.
Like, oh my goodness, thank you for not just taking what I said blindly. Actually think about it. And then, hey, if you don't implement it, why not? Why not? give me the why, and then what did you decide to do? What works for your world? What works for the desire of your kids, your finances, your life, your physical well-being?
Right. Because here's the thing, everybody's different. Like, Dustin and I cannot get on Nick's loud level. Like, he's loud with his girls. We just don't have it in us. Like, that's just not who we are. So we figured out a different way to raise our kids, and that's okay. It works for us.
It does work for y'all. It does. But let's take it a step further, right? When you decide to listen to someone and you decide to take their advice, I want you to ask yourself, is this person giving me this advice because they have my best interest at heart?
Ooh, so good. That was good.
Okay.
Can you say that again?
when I listen to this person's advice, am I listening to when I listen to their advice, do they have my best interest at heart? Because there's a lot of people who will give you advice to make themselves feel better. Okay. So you need to look at that individual, right? Hey, I've heard what you said. I will consider it. Okay. And then ask yourself, is this person giving me their advice from a sincere place? Or are they giving advice to make them feel,
to puff their chest?
Exactly. To make themselves feel better. Okay. Because you're going to have people on both sides. And this is why this is important. Knowing their why will very quickly tell you how much weight you should give to what they're saying. And number two, knowing their why will also help you when you need to go back to them and have that conversation. Hey, I considered what you told me, and based off of whatever reason, I've really decided not to implement that, or based off of whatever reason, I've decided to implement that. Right. But what it will also do is it will save you time in processing if you know where their why is coming from.
Right.
Okay. If I'm giving you advice, just know if it's coming from Nick, it's to definitely help you. Has nothing to do with me. I want to see you succeed. I personally shoot for win-win situations. And the way it's a win-win situation is when I get to see you succeed from the background. When I get to see you succeed when I'm not in the room.
Right.
Okay. When you are able to elevate yourself, that's your win. And that's the mindset that you want to have. That's a mindset that you want someone to have when they're giving you that advice.
That's a good thing. Like the thing that stuck out to me was don't be afraid to ask why. Ask that, like, in the moment, ask them, why are you wanting to share that with me right now?
Oh, that's good too.
What is it? See, he didn't even say. He didn't even grab that.
I didn't.
But the why, like, you might not be able to know what that person's why is. So in that moment when they're offering that advice, why do you bring that up? What is it that you see that maybe I don't see?
Ooh, there you go.
And hear them out that way as well.
So I'm gonna pull up my phone. I don't normally pull up my phone. Sorry, I read a text message from my wife while I pulled up my phone. Of course I did, right? So there's a book called How to Set Goals with Kaizen. Okay. And in this book, he talks about the 5 whys. And what it is, that the 5 whys are to get down to the root of the problem, the issue, the situation, the conversation.
Right.
And it's really funny. When I first read 5 whys, you want me to ask why 5 times to people? I'm just going to be bothering them.
I'm going to turn into a toddler.
It works. It works with adults. And here's why it works with adults.
Tell me why, Nick. because
when an adult is telling you the issues or the emotions, right? And you ask why, it's not a toddler why, it's a why do you feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
Why did that bother you? Why did that make you feel good? And allowing that person to allowing that person's mind to start answering the own why, then share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've come to a point now. I gotta watch it. I want to move the mic like 500 times, and I know I can't do it. Right?
Stand.
Right. We've gotten to a point now where it's almost bad to ask why.
Because it's taken as a...
Why are you questioning me?
Yes, it's taken that stance of resistance and pushback, but it doesn't always have to be that way.
This country was built on pushback. Like, seriously. Like, this country was built on people asking why. Why can this not be better? Why do we always have to use the mechanical motor that's in our cars?
Mm-hmm.
Why can we not use, battery powered whatever to use on vehicles? Here we go, right? Why can I not have a phone that can control my entire household? Why?
But to your point, that's where a lot of great companies and great technology and great advancements in this country have come from.
And that's it, right? This country was built on asking the question why. We're not like other countries that just copycat everyone, okay?
But when it comes to personal development or actions, that changes.
Why?
Like, it changes.
Yeah, it does. But why? Why is it so bad? Here's why it's bad. I'm going to answer this. I'm going to answer this for you, okay? Because people want people to just some people of power want other people to just do what they're told and not understand the why behind it. In the military, okay, back in the day, you never asked the question why. When I was serving, answering the why was extremely important. If you understood the why behind a mission, if you understood the why that you were going to go put your life in danger, you were more willing to do it. Okay? If you want your kids to think outside of the box, let them ask why. Here we go, right? It's so funny now because there's such a lower bar of expectation now that to be a rock star takes less effort. Seriously. Like in business,
Anything.
in education, in name it, okay, in sports. Okay? The bar is set so low that if you can ask why, if you can push yourself just a little bit harder than everyone else, you're a rock star.
That's true.
As someone who hires people and has fired people, it is so easy to get someone in here who can do a little bit more than what the other previous employees have done and look like a rock star.
And then I came in and I raised the bar.
now there's a very high bar. There's a very high bar, right? But it literally takes asking why.
Right.
Like 90% of our conversations are
why?
Why is this important? How does this work? Why do you do this before that?
And it's funny. In our conversations, there's sometimes where I stop asking why because I'm like, I'm sure he's going to tell me the reason in just 30 seconds. And he's like, ask me why.
Because it's important. Because here we go, right? As a visionary, if you cannot explain the why to the integrators, okay, or as an integrator, if you cannot explain the why you have a certain checklist to the visionary, you're going to create a disconnection. And after you create that disconnection, yes, you can continue to move forward, but eventually you're going to hit a wall. And because you're disconnected, one of you is going to fall. Okay?
It's actually been in the past where we've had that either you push back on something I've said or I've pushed back on something you've said. And we go through the why behind it. And it helps us understand either we need to adjust what we're seeing or it helps the other person that was giving that pushback of like, oh, I understand that now. Like, let's go. Like,
there you go.
Yes.
Oh, that's why you have that process written out in that order.
Exactly.
I get it. Great. Here we go. You've explained the why. So as a visionary, right? Great. You've explained the why. Let's move. Like, I don't need you to explain it 3 times. I just explain it 1 time and let's move, right? And that's it. That's where that's the disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
So reconnect it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go, right? Let's kind of recap all this.
Yes.
1, if you have an individual that is in your life that is constantly giving you advice or is constantly giving you just...
Well, not even that. People, you hear advice on how to live, on how to do this and how to do that all over the place, from what you watch to social media, to the books you listen to the people surrounding you in your office, to the people surrounding you in your house. Everybody is shouting things at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all around you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to filter it out.
And start with, thank you for giving me your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I'll consider that.
Right?
Here we go. We have to end the show now. But
Yes, we
how
do.
many fights would that null and void if you could just reply in a positive way? Thank you for sharing that. I'll consider it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to end the show today. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in today. This was more of the direction that the show is going to be moving in. Okay, it's more of leadership, more of parenting, more of struggles. So if you have something that you want to share or you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments. Okay, if you have something that we want us to research,
message us.
or direct message,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You
If you're
don't need
like,
to share it with everybody, you can.
so some people might,
And they can.
some people might, they can,
but they don't have to.
They don't have to.
Please direct message us if you want to.
I like, yes, Lindsay.
Yes.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So, hey, it's Tuesday. Are you ready? Where's my planner? It's on my desk.
It's
Oh, there it
behind
is.
your computer.
I almost knocked over my coffee. That would have been so horrible. You have 4 days.
Not because it would have gone on the tech. It's because the coffee would have got spilled.
Yes, that would have been horrible. My desk would smell amazing. But, so, hey, what are your big 3 for the week? Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, here we go, right? You have 4 days to write out your big 3. Make sure you make that adjustment. Don't write 3 oversized goals that are not going to work.
Right.
Okay? Get 3 goals that you can accomplish this week. So that's what you need to be doing today. And bring your greatness.
Yeah.
Bring your greatness. It's a short week. Bring it. If you need some coffee, go get it. If you need some cookies, go find a store and buy them. Unless you're doing SoulCon or a fast, then you have to wait. Ha
Such a
ha ha.
challenge.
I know, right? SoulCon, I will drink black coffee all day. So I'm loving this. So make sure that you
Rise up.
and then crush it.
Bye, y'all.
y'all.